Should we put a warning or should we put notification under a photo that this has been retouched? Definitely.
Time out. We asked if retouching should be banned. We don't think it's realistic to ban the editing of photographs, but what is a more reasonable approach to warn people about the excessive use of Photoshop in the media? The effects of photoshopping images varies across age and gender. While it may lower the self-esteem of young girls, it can also raise the expectations of men. Now, with so many unhealthy messages going around, why hasn't anyone done anything to combat the effects?
What are we really talking about? We're talking about making money.
The client pays you to do your thing. And if that's what they're paying you to do, then give them what they want.
According to the Body Project, the ability of girls to distinguish an airbrushed image diminished her likelihood to develop a disordered perception of perfection, and as a result also lowered her odds of developing an eating disorder.
I think that all the advertisement that we see every single day, everywhere we go, has a direct impact like a time bomb.
You might think that looking at people who are maybe a little too close to perfect would be a disconnect. But I think that quite often it's not a disconnect because people are willing to suspend belief and they're willing to sort of widen their view of what kind of people are like them.
I've heard arguments, I've had students say to me, you know, I've been to demonstrations and people have stood up and said, that's wrong, that's inappropriate. And the person on the panel said, if you don't believe in this, then don't do it.
After Tim was finished retouching my photo, I really liked the way that the final picture looked. Now, the real question is, if I were to go and put it up on one of my social profiles, do people actually perceive the image as that's what I actually look like in person? Because it's not real, it's not really me. Now, do people look at the images in the magazines and try to achieve the bodies that they see? Or is the retouching of photos causing disordered eating among our society?
I have never seen more dramatically sick girls, when I say sick, between their ears, more than below their neck. Once upon a time, eating disorders were more physical than psychological in terms of the absolute danger. Now, yes, eventually we're going to deal with somebody who's 80 or 90 pounds. You do see that. But what is going on between a girl's ears now, or a woman's ears, to the point where they believe the whole idea of each day is don't eat, to exercise as much as possible, and to make sure that you're a size 0. That's how we start the day.
I personally don't believe that Photoshop should be banned. I don't think it's realistic, and it's definitely not going to happen. What we can do that I think is realistic and will help combat some of the unhealthy images is to add a disclaimer to the images that have been retouched in magazines such as Glamour, so that people do know that they have been retouched.
If we can make it much more obvious to all of us that these photos have been retouched, you know, I think there's some possibility of improvement, but just as on cigarette packages, what's the warning say, according to the Surgeon General? Does that stop someone who's intent on smoking? I don't know, but it is some awareness.
If you look at products that are designed to make us look and feel better, they're not really selling a product. You're not really selling a shirt. You're not really selling cosmetics. You're selling hope.